Welcome to my channel, Book to Fluent. Have you ever felt tired of trying so hard to learn English, but still forgetting everything the next day? What if I told you your brain can learn English while you sleep, without pressure, without fear, just by listening? And slowly, naturally, it starts changing you. Comment sleep if you've ever felt stuck in English, because today something powerful is about to begin. Chapter 1. The Night. Your brain never sleeps. You think learning stops when you close your eyes. You think the day ends and your English stops growing. But something very quiet is still happening inside you. Your brain is not sleeping the way you think. Your body is resting. Your eyes are closed. But your brain is still alive, still active, still listening. This is the part most learners never understand. They believe learning only happens when they are sitting with a book, when they are forcing themselves to remember words, when they are trying again and again and feeling tired again and again. And slowly, they start to feel something heavy inside. They start to feel maybe this is too hard. Maybe English is not for me. Maybe I cannot do this. But what if that belief is wrong? What if your brain has another way, a softer way, a calmer way, a way that does not ask you to fight, a way that helps you even when you feel weak? That way begins when you stop trying so hard. That way begins when you close your eyes. Right now, I want you to imagine something very simple. You are lying in your bed. The room is quiet. Your body is tired. Your mind is slow. And in the background, very softly, there is English. Not fast, not difficult, just simple sentences. Calm words, easy sounds. You are not trying to understand everything. You are not forcing yourself to repeat. You are just there, breathing slowly, listening lightly. And then something interesting happens. Your mind starts to relax. The fear disappears. The pressure disappears. And suddenly, English is not a problem anymore. It is just sound. It is just flow. It is just something your brain can feel without effort. This is where real change begins. Most people think learning must be hard. They think if it is easy, it is not working. But your brain does not grow best under pressure. Your brain grows best in comfort, in repetition, in calm moments where it can connect things slowly. Think about a child. A child does not sit with grammar books. A child does not say, I must learn 10 words today. A child listens, again and again, day and night, without fear, without thinking too much. And slowly, without even knowing, that child starts to speak, starts to understand, starts to feel the language. This is natural learning, and this is what you are missing. You are not slow. You are not weak. You are just using a method that fights your brain instead of helping it. When you try too hard, your brain becomes tired. When your brain becomes tired, it starts to forget. And then you feel frustrated, and then you stop. And then you think you cannot do it. But your brain was never the problem. Your method was the problem. And tonight, we start changing that. Here is something powerful. Your brain does not stop receiving information when you sleep. It becomes more open in a different way. It is not analyzing deeply. It is not judging. It is not saying this is difficult. It is simply receiving patterns, sounds, rhythm, repetition. And this is exactly what a language is. A language is not just rules. It is patterns. It is sounds that repeat again and again until they feel normal. And when something feels normal, you stop fearing it. And when fear disappears, speaking becomes easier. Imagine hearing the same simple sentence again and again during the night. Something like, I wake up in the morning. I drink water. I go outside. These are not big sentences, but they are powerful because they are real. They are simple, and your brain loves simple repetition. At first, it may feel like nothing is happening, but inside, very quietly, your brain is building connection. It is saying, I have heard this before. This feels familiar. This is not new anymore. And that small feeling of familiarity is the beginning of confidence. This is why many learners say, I understand English, but I cannot speak. Because their brain knows the language in a forced way, not in a natural way. They studied it. They tried to remember it. But they never lived with it. They never allowed their brain to feel it again and again without pressure. Sleep learning starts to change that feeling. It slowly turns English from something scary into something normal, something you hear, something you recognize, something that feels like a part of your environment. But listen carefully. This is not magic. You will not wake up tomorrow speaking like a native. That is not the goal. The goal is something deeper. The goal is to remove fear, to build familiarity, to create a connection between you and English that feels natural. Because once that connection is strong, speaking becomes much easier. Listening becomes easier. Thinking becomes easier. Everything starts to flow. And here is the most beautiful part. You do not need to do anything difficult. You do not need to study hard at night. You do not need to force your brain. You just need to allow it. Allow it to listen. Allow it to relax. Allow it to grow in its own way. This is a different kind of learning. A peaceful kind of learning. A kind of learning that respects your mind instead of pushing it. So tonight when you go to bed, remember this one idea. Your journey does not stop when you sleep. It begins in a new way, a quiet way, a powerful way that works behind the scenes. Even when you feel like you are doing nothing, something is happening. Something is building. Something is changing inside you. And maybe right now you are thinking, can this really work for me? I understand that feeling. Because change always feels uncertain at the beginning. But every big transformation starts with a small step. And this is your small step. Not a heavy one, not a difficult one. Just a simple shift. From forcing to allowing. From stress to calm. From fear to familiarity. So do not judge it too quickly. Do not expect big results in one night. Just give your brain the chance it never had before. The chance to learn without pressure. The chance to listen without fear. The chance to grow while you rest. Because the truth is very simple. Your brain never truly sleeps. And if you use that truth in the right way, your English will slowly start waking up. Chapter 2. Why you forget everything and how sleep fixes it. You sit down to learn English. You read words. You understand sentences. You feel a small happiness inside because for a moment, everything makes sense. But then something frustrating happens. The next day comes and it feels like everything is gone. The words are not clear anymore. The sentences feel new again. And you ask yourself a painful question. Why do I forget everything? Am I the problem? Is my memory weak? Is English too hard for me? This is the moment where many people lose hope, not because they cannot learn, but because they do not understand how learning really works. Let me tell you something very important. Your memory is not broken. Your brain is not weak. You are not the problem. The real problem is how you are trying to learn. When you push your brain too hard, it starts to close. When you try to force too much information in a short time, your brain becomes confused. It cannot hold everything. It cannot organize everything. And slowly, it lets things go. Not because it wants to, but because it is protecting you from overload. This is why you forget, not because you are bad at learning, but because your brain needs a better way. Think about how you usually study. You sit with pressure. You try to remember many words at once. You repeat them again and again, but your mind feels tired. Sometimes you feel stress. Sometimes you feel fear. You think, I must not forget this. I must learn this today. But that pressure is the exact thing that blocks your memory. When your brain feels stress, it does not open. It becomes tight. It becomes slow. It says, this is too much. I cannot take this right now. And so, even if you understand something in that moment, it does not stay for long. Now imagine a different situation. You are calm. You are relaxed. You are not trying too hard. You are just listening, just hearing simple English again and again. No pressure, no fear, no rush. In this state, your brain feels safe. And when your brain feels safe, it starts to store information more deeply. This is where real memory begins, not in stress, not in force, but in calm repetition. This is why sleep becomes powerful. Because when you are sleeping, your brain is not fighting. It is not stressed. It is not trying to be perfect. It is simply processing what it hears. It is organizing sounds. It is connecting patterns. It is slowly moving information from short memory to long memory. You may not feel it. You may not see it immediately. But inside, something is changing. Let me explain this in a very simple way. During the day, you collect information. You hear words. You see sentences. You try to understand things. This is like putting things into a small box. But that box is not strong yet. It is temporary. It can easily lose things. But during sleep, your brain takes those small pieces and starts building stronger connections. It moves them into a deeper place, a place where things stay longer. This is why after good rest, sometimes things feel clearer. Sometimes something you heard before suddenly makes more sense. Now imagine adding English to this process. Imagine your brain hearing simple English again and again while you sleep. It starts recognizing patterns. It starts remembering sounds. It starts feeling the rhythm of the language, not in a forced way, but in a natural way. And slowly, when you wake up, something feels different. Maybe a word sounds familiar. Maybe a sentence feels easier. Maybe your fear is slightly less. These are small changes, but they are powerful. Most learners look for big results quickly. They want to speak fast. They want to understand everything in one day. But real learning is slow. It is quiet. It happens in small steps. And sleep learning supports this slow growth. It helps your brain repeat things without effort. It gives your brain time to build memory without pressure. But listen carefully. This is not a replacement for your effort. It is a support system. During the day, you still need to listen. You still need to speak. You still need to practice. But at night, your brain continues the work in a calm way. It strengthens what you learned. It repeats what you heard. It builds familiarity. And that familiarity becomes confidence. So the next time you feel like you forget everything, do not feel sad. Do not say, I cannot do this. Instead, ask yourself a different question. Am I giving my brain the right environment to remember? Am I helping it with calm repetition? Am I allowing it to learn in a natural way? Because once you change the environment, everything changes. You are not starting from zero every day. Your brain is collecting small pieces. And with the right method, those pieces start connecting. They start forming something bigger, something stronger, something that stays. And this is where sleep becomes your hidden advantage. While you rest, your brain works quietly. While you feel like nothing is happening, something is growing. Something is becoming stable. Something is becoming yours. So stop blaming your memory. Stop thinking you are weak. You just needed a better system. A system that respects how your brain works. A system that uses both effort and rest. A system that turns forgetting into remembering. Because the truth is simple. You do not forget because you cannot learn. You forget because your brain needs repetition without pressure. And sleep gives you exactly that. Chapter 3. The right way to use sleep learning. Most people do it wrong. Now you understand something powerful. Your brain can learn in a calm way. Your brain can remember better when there is no pressure. But here is where many people make a mistake. They hear about sleep learning. They feel excited. They try it 1 or 2 nights. And then they say it does not work. They give up too fast. Not because the method is wrong, but because they are using it the wrong way. And today, you are not going to make that mistake. Today, you will learn how to do it the right way. In a simple way. In a natural way. In a way that your brain actually accepts. First, let's talk about the biggest mistake. Many learners choose difficult content. They play fast English. They play movies. They play advanced lessons. And they expect their brain to learn while sleeping. But think about it. If something is difficult when you are awake, how will your brain understand it when you are asleep? This creates confusion, not learning. Your brain needs simple input, very simple input, slow sentences, clear words, easy expressions, things that feel light, things that feel familiar. This is the first rule. Simple English is powerful English. Now imagine this. You are lying in bed, the room is quiet, and you hear a soft voice saying simple sentences. I wake up in the morning. I brush my teeth. I drink water. I go outside. These are not big sentences, but they are real. They are clear. They are easy to follow, and your brain starts recognizing them. Not all at once, but slowly, gently, without pressure. This is how patterns are built. This is how familiarity grows, not through complexity, but through repetition of simple things. Now let's talk about sound. This is very important. Many people make the mistake of playing audio too loud. They think louder means better learning. But that is not true. If the sound is too loud, your sleep becomes disturbed. Your brain cannot rest properly. And instead of helping you, it starts hurting your progress. The goal is not to force sound into your brain. The goal is to let your brain receive it softly, like background music, like a calm voice in the distance, something that is there but not disturbing you. This is the second rule. Soft sound, comfortable sound. Now we move to timing. When should you start the audio? Some people press play after they are already sleeping. Some people only listen for a few minutes. But the best way is simple. Start the audio when you are going to sleep, when your body is relaxing, when your mind is slowing down. This moment is very powerful because your brain is moving from active thinking to calm receiving. And the English you hear at this moment starts entering your mind without resistance. Then let it continue in the background, not all night at full volume, but gently, softly, naturally. Consistency is the next key. This is where most people fail. They try 1 night, maybe 2 nights, and then they stop. They say nothing changed. But real change does not come in 1 night. It comes from repetition. It comes from showing up again and again. even when you feel nothing is happening, even when progress is invisible, because inside something is building. Your brain is connecting patterns. Your brain is reducing fear. Your brain is creating familiarity. But it needs time. So this is the third rule. Do it every night, even if it feels small, even if it feels slow. Now let's talk about expectation. This is very important. If you expect magic, you will feel disappointed. If you expect to wake up fluent, you will feel frustrated. But if you understand the real goal, everything changes. The goal is not instant speaking. The goal is comfort. The goal is familiarity. The goal is to make English feel normal. Because once English feels normal, your speaking will naturally improve. Your listening will naturally improve. Your confidence will naturally grow. This is the fourth rule. Trust the process, not the speed. Let me share something deeper. Sleep learning is not about understanding every word. It is about feeling the language. It is about letting your brain hear patterns again and again until they feel natural, just like music. When you hear a song many times, you start remembering it, not because you studied it, but because you heard it again and again. Language works the same way. And sleep gives you the perfect environment for this kind of repetition. Now imagine your routine. During the day, you listen to English. You speak a little. You try small sentences. You make mistakes. That is okay. That is part of the journey. And at night, you give your brain soft, simple English again. No pressure, no effort, just calm repetition. This combination is powerful. Day practice and night reinforcement. Together, they create growth that feels natural. And here is something beautiful. When you start using sleep learning the right way, your relationship with English changes. It is no longer something you fight. It becomes something you live with. Something that is always around you, even when you are resting, even when you are not trying. And this removes fear, because fear comes from distance, but familiarity comes from closeness. And now English is close to you. So tonight, do not make the common mistakes. Do not choose difficult content. Do not play loud audio. Do not expect fast results. Do not stop after 1 or 2 nights. Instead, keep it simple, keep it soft, keep it consistent, and most importantly, keep it natural. Because learning is not about doing more, it is about doing it the right way. And when you finally start doing it the right way, your brain stops fighting. Your brain starts accepting. Your brain starts growing. And slowly, without you even noticing, English begins to feel like a part of you. Chapter 4. My First Night, The Strange Beginning. That first night felt different. Not exciting in a big way. Not powerful in a loud way. It felt quiet, almost strange. I remember lying in bed and thinking to myself, is this really going to help me? I had tried many things before. Books, videos, repeating words again and again. Feeling motivated for a few days and then losing it again. So this time, I did not expect much. I just wanted to try. Nothing more. I pressed play. A soft voice started speaking simple English. Very slow, very calm. I turned the volume low. Not too loud, just enough to hear if I wanted to. And then I closed my eyes. At first, my mind did not relax. It tried to follow every word. It tried to understand everything. It kept saying, listen carefully. Do not miss anything. This is important. But that effort made me tired. And slowly, I remembered something. This is not about trying hard. This is about letting go. So I stopped forcing myself. I let the words come and go. I did not chase them, I did not fight them. I just stayed there, breathing slowly, listening lightly, and then something changed. My thoughts became slower. My body became heavier. The words were still there, but now they felt softer, less important, less stressful. And without even noticing, I fell asleep. That night did not feel like a big success. There was no moment where I said, "Wow, this is working." There was no clear sign. It was just sleep. Normal sleep, but with something new in the background. And the next morning, I woke up like any other day. No big difference, no sudden fluency, no magic feeling. And for a second, I thought maybe nothing happened. Maybe this is just another method that will not work. That doubt came quickly. Because we are used to expecting fast results. We are used to looking for something big, something obvious, something we can feel immediately. But then something very small happened. So small that I almost ignored it. I heard a simple sentence later that day, and it felt familiar. Not new, not confusing, just familiar. Like I had heard it before. And I had heard it before, not in a classroom, not while studying, but in that quiet night, in that soft voice, in that calm moment when I was not even trying. And that small feeling stayed with me. It was not strong, it was not life-changing, but it was real, and it made me curious. The next night, I did it again. Same simple audio, same soft volume, same calm approach. But this time, my mind was a little more relaxed. It did not fight as much. It did not try to understand everything. It allowed the words to pass more easily. And again, I fell asleep. No big moment, no dramatic change, just quiet repetition. And the next day, again, something small. A word felt easier. A sentence felt lighter. I was not thinking too much. I was just noticing. This is the part many people miss. They are waiting for a big change. But real change does not come like a loud noise. It comes like a whisper. It comes slowly, gently, almost invisibly. And if you are not patient, you will miss it. You will stop too early. You will say it does not work. But if you stay with it, if you keep going, those small changes start to grow. I remember after a few nights, something inside me started to shift. I was not afraid of English in the same way. Before, when I heard English, my mind would become tense. It would try too hard. It would feel pressure. But now, it felt softer, more natural. Like I was getting used to it. Like it was becoming a part of my environment. Not something foreign, not something scary. Just something familiar. There was still doubt. Of course there was doubt. Some days I felt nothing. Some days I thought maybe I am just imagining it. Maybe this is not real. But then another small moment would come. Another word, another sentence, another feeling of familiarity. And slowly, those moments started to build trust. Not strong trust, but enough to continue. And this is important to understand. Your first night will not change everything. It will feel strange. It will feel quiet. It may even feel useless. But that does not mean nothing is happening. It just means the process is starting. And the beginning is always slow, always small, always easy to ignore. What matters is not the first night. What matters is what you do after it. Do you stop because you did not see a big result? Or do you continue because you understand that real change takes time? This is where most learners fail. Not because they cannot learn, but because they stop too early. So when you try this for the first time, Do not look for something big. Do not ask, did I become fluent? Ask something smaller. Did something feel slightly easier? Did something feel slightly familiar? Because that is the real sign. That is the beginning of change. And the most beautiful part is this: you are not forcing anything. You are not fighting your brain. You are working with it. You are giving it the space it needs, the calm it needs, the repetition it needs, and slowly your brain responds. Slowly it starts to accept English. Slowly it starts to recognize it. So do not judge your first night. Do not decide too quickly. Just experience it. Just allow it. Just stay with it for a few days and let those small changes grow. Because one small moment of familiarity can become many, and many can become confidence. And confidence is where everything begins to change. Chapter 5: The 30-Night Transformation. Slow but powerful. Now something important begins to change. Not in one night, not in 2 nights, but slowly, after many nights, something deeper starts to grow inside you. This is the part most people never reach, because they stop too early. They try for a few days, they feel nothing big, and they leave. But you did not stop. You continued. You trusted the process. And because of that, your brain started doing something powerful. It started building a new relationship with English. At first, everything felt small. A word here, a sentence there, a little familiarity. But after many nights, those small pieces begin to connect. They are no longer separate. They become a pattern. And when your brain sees patterns, it feels safe. It stops resisting. It stops saying, this is difficult. Instead, it starts saying, I know this. I have heard this before. This feels normal. And that feeling is very important. Because when something feels normal, you stop fearing it. After around 30 nights, something interesting happens. You are not trying as hard anymore. When you hear English, your mind does not panic. It does not freeze. It does not say, this is too much. Instead, it stays calm. It listens. It follows. Even if you do not understand everything, you do not feel lost. You feel connected. And that connection changes everything. You start noticing that simple sentences come to your mind more easily. Not because you memorized them, but because you heard them many times. They are now part of your memory, not a forced memory, a natural memory. The kind of memory that feels easy, the kind that does not need effort. And this is where speaking begins to change. You are no longer searching for every word. Some words come automatically. Some sentences form without thinking too much. And this gives you a new feeling, a feeling of progress. Your listening also becomes stronger. Before, when you heard English, it felt fast. It felt confusing. It felt like everything was moving too quickly. But now, it feels slower. Not because the audio changed, but because your brain changed. It has heard these sounds again and again. It recognizes them faster. It processes them more easily. And suddenly, listening is not painful anymore. It becomes something you can enjoy. There is also a quiet emotional change. Before, English made you feel pressure. It made you feel weak. It made you feel like you were always behind. But now, that feeling starts to disappear. You feel more comfortable, more relaxed. You are not perfect, but you are not afraid either. And this is a very powerful place to be. Because when fear leaves, confidence has space to grow. But remember something important. This transformation is not loud. It is not dramatic. You will not wake up one day and say everything is different. It is slow, it is gentle. It is like a small light growing inside you. And each night adds a little more. Each night strengthens what you already have. Each night makes English feel a little more natural. Many people want fast results. They want to change in 1 week. They want to feel fluent immediately. But real change does not work like that. Real change is built step by step, night by night, and when you look back after many days, you realize how far you have come, not because of one big moment, but because of many small moments. You also start to see English in a new way. It is no longer something you study only at a table. It becomes part of your life, part of your day, part of your night, something that stays with you, something that grows with you. And this is the real goal. Not just learning English, but living with English. There may still be days when you feel slow, days when you feel nothing is happening. That is normal. Growth is not always visible, but even on those days your brain is still working. It is still connecting. It is still learning in the background. And this is why consistency is so powerful. Because even when you do not feel progress, progress is still happening. So if you stay with this for 30 nights, something inside you will change. Not everything, not completely, but enough to feel the difference. Enough to give you hope. Enough to push you forward. And once you feel that change, you will not want to stop. Because now you understand something most people never understand. You understand that learning does not have to be painful. It does not have to be forced. It can be calm. It can be natural. It can be part of your life. And this is where your journey becomes real. Not a short attempt, not a quick try, but a real transformation. One that continues, one that grows, one that stays with you. So do not think of one night. Do not think of 1 week. Think of many nights. Think of a simple habit that you follow without stress. And let that habit slowly change you. Because the truth is simple. One night feels small, but many nights together can change the way your brain feels English forever. Chapter 6. Mistakes that kill your progress. Avoid these tonight. Now you have come far. You understand the method. You have felt small changes. You have started building something real. But this is also the moment where many learners quietly lose everything. Not because they stop completely, but because they make small mistakes again and again. Mistakes that look normal. Mistakes that feel harmless. But slowly, these mistakes break the process. They stop the growth. They bring back confusion. And if you are not careful, you can go back to the same frustration you had before. That is why this chapter is very important. Because if you avoid these mistakes, your progress will continue. But if you ignore them, your progress will slow down without you even noticing. The first mistake is choosing content that is too difficult. This is the most common problem. Many learners think harder means better. They believe if they listen to fast English, complex sentences, or advanced lessons, they will improve faster. But the truth is the opposite. When your brain hears something too difficult, it cannot relax, it cannot follow, it cannot build patterns. Instead, it becomes confused. And confusion does not create learning. It creates distance. It creates frustration. So when you choose your night audio, always remember this. Keep it simple. Keep it clear. Keep it easy. Simple English is not weak. Simple English is powerful. It is the foundation of everything. The second mistake is expecting fast results. This is a silent killer. You start with excitement. You try for a few nights. And then your mind starts asking questions. Why am I not fluent yet? Why is nothing changing? Why is this so slow? And slowly, doubt enters. Doubt turns into frustration, and frustration turns into quitting. But this method was never about speed. It was about consistency. It was about slow transformation. When you expect too much too quickly, you lose patience. And when you lose patience, you stop before the real results begin. So remind yourself again and again, this is a long journey, and slow progress is still progress. The third mistake is using loud audio. This may sound small, but it is very important. Some learners think if they increase the volume, their brain will learn more. But what actually happens is the opposite. Loud sound disturbs your sleep. It creates discomfort. It stops your body from fully relaxing. And when your body is not relaxed, your brain cannot process properly. Instead of helping your learning, it harms your rest. And when your rest is not good, your learning becomes weaker. So always keep the sound soft, gentle, like a calm voice in the background, something that supports you, not something that controls you. The fourth mistake is inconsistency. This is where many people fail without realizing it. They try one night, then they skip the next. Then they try again after 3 days. Then they stop for a week, and they expect results. But your brain does not work like that. It needs repetition. It needs regular input. It needs a pattern. When you break that pattern, your brain cannot build strong connections. It starts again and again from the beginning. That is why even a small daily habit is better than a big effort once in a while. Even if you feel tired, even if you feel nothing is happening, stay consistent, because consistency builds strength. The fifth mistake is believing sleep learning is enough. This is very important to understand. Sleep learning is powerful, but it is not complete on its own. It supports your learning. It strengthens your memory. It builds familiarity. But during the day, you still need to listen, speak, and practice. If you only rely on sleep, your progress will be limited. But when you combine day practice with night listening, something powerful happens. You learn during the day, and your brain strengthens it at night. This combination creates real growth. Another mistake is trying to understand everything. Even at night, some learners keep thinking, I must understand every word. I must follow every sentence. But that mindset creates pressure, and pressure blocks natural learning. At night, your goal is not full understanding. Your goal is exposure. Your goal is repetition. Your goal is familiarity. Let the words come and go. Let your brain absorb naturally. Trust the process. And there is one more mistake: comparing yourself with others. You may see someone speaking better. You may feel they are faster than you, and then you start feeling behind again. But your journey is your own. Your brain learns in its own way, at its own speed. When you compare, you lose focus. When you lose focus, you lose progress. So stay with your path. Stay with your process. Now take a moment and think. These mistakes are simple, but they are powerful. And if you avoid them, your journey becomes smoother. Your progress becomes stronger. Your confidence grows naturally. So tonight, before you sleep, remember these things. Choose simple content. Keep the sound soft. Do not expect fast results. Stay consistent. Combine day practice with night listening. Do not try to understand everything. And do not compare yourself with anyone. Because learning is not about doing more things. It is about doing the right things again and again. And when you do the right things consistently, your brain responds. Your brain adapts. Your brain grows. You have already started something powerful. Do not let small mistakes stop you now. Stay patient. Stay calm. Stay consistent. because you are not just learning English. You are building a new way of learning, a better way, a smarter way, and this time it will stay with you. Chapter 7. Tonight you start your new English life. Now everything comes together, not as a lesson, not as a trick, but as a quiet decision, a simple moment where you stop waiting and you start. You have heard the idea, you have understood the method, you have seen how your brain can learn in a calm way. And now, there is only one question left. Will you begin? Not tomorrow, not next week, tonight. Because real change does not wait for the perfect time. It begins in a normal moment, in a quiet room, in a simple action that looks small but carries power. Tonight, when you go to bed, do not overthink. Do not create a big plan. Keep it simple. Choose a short audio with slow and clear English. Something easy, something real. Play it softly. Let it be part of the silence. Lie down. Close your eyes. Breathe slowly. And then do something different. Do not try to understand everything. Do not chase every word. Let the sentences pass. Let your mind relax. Let your brain receive without pressure. This is your new way. Not forcing, not fighting, just allowing. At first, your mind may try to go back to the old habit. It may say, listen carefully, focus more, do not miss this. But gently remind yourself, this is not the time to push. This is the time to trust. Let the voice be there. Let your thoughts slow down. And slowly, you will drift into sleep. Not a special sleep, just your normal sleep. But now, something is different. English is with you, softly, quietly, repeating, becoming familiar. And maybe tomorrow, nothing big will happen. That is okay. Do not look for a big change. Look for something small. A word that feels easier. A sentence that sounds familiar. A moment where you feel less fear. These are the real signs. These are the seeds of confidence. And when you notice them, do not ignore them. Accept them, because they show you that something is working inside you. As the nights pass, your brain will begin to change in ways you cannot fully see. It will stop reacting with fear. It will start recognizing patterns. It will begin to accept English as something normal. And when English becomes normal, everything becomes easier. Speaking becomes easier. Listening becomes easier. Thinking becomes easier. Not because you forced it, but because you allowed it. There will be days when you feel slow. Days when you feel nothing is happening. Do not stop. This is part of the journey. Growth is not always visible, but it is always happening when you stay consistent. Every night adds something. Every repetition builds something. And slowly, those small pieces become something strong. Now think about who you are becoming. Not someone who is struggling and stopping. Not someone who is afraid and silent. You are becoming someone who shows up. Someone who trusts the process. Someone who builds confidence step by step. Even in sleep, even in silence. This is a new identity, and it starts with one simple action, starting tonight. So when you put your head on the pillow, remember this. You are not ending your day. You are continuing your journey in a new way, a calm way, a powerful way that works with your brain, not against it. You are giving yourself a chance to grow without pressure. A chance to improve without fear. A chance to become the person you want to be. And one day, you will look back and realize something beautiful. You did not change because of one big moment. You changed because of many small nights, many simple decisions, many quiet steps that built something real inside you. So do not wait anymore. Do not doubt yourself anymore. Start with what you have. Start where you are. Start tonight, because your English is not far away. It is already inside you. It just needed the right way to come out.